right. So we are maybe 2.5, 3 weeks away from Election Day, or at least the day when all the votes have to be in by. Today I'm going to talk about Joe Biden's tax plan. So Trump has been running a lot of ads on YouTube, and he's been talking, and Fox News and Limbaugh and those idiots have been saying that Biden's going to raise taxes on all these different people, and Biden and Harris want to raise everyone's taxes. It's just not true. They say something like 85% of people are going to see a tax increase under Biden, and it's just silly. It's not true. There's actually a right wing think tank that did a study and crunched the numbers and found that like he was actually gonna save people money in his first year in office, that he gets his taxes through anyway. So one of the big things that he wants to do is to roll back the Trump tax cuts to people making, or to the ones that go to the top 1%. So I think that's something that he'd be able to do right away. And I think if there's a supermajority in Congress, which there was like when Obama took office in 08, 09, I think it's definitely likely that he's able to get something like that done. The top 1% got about 85% of the benefits from Trump's tax cuts, and the rest of us kind of got fucked. And their tax cuts don't expire, but ours did. So like some people earned a little bit more that year or got a little bit more back, but the majority of people owed money to the government because they didn't know that certain things weren't, you know, able to be taken off. And that's something Biden wants to do too. He wants to expand the earned income tax credit. So he wants to give you more things that you can uh, claim, essentially, in an easier way to say it. So like teachers and stuff were not able to claim supplies and stuff that they paid out of their own pocket for, which was a big difference and a big change. That's just an example. There was a lot of other things that suddenly weren't claimable. He wants to increase or at least bring back the tax credit for first-time home buyers. So buying your first home, something like that. There's other things that go with it as well. He would give you a tax credit towards that because that's such a major investment. He also wants to change the way we tax foreign income to domestic businesses. So like companies that are outsourcing, essentially, it's gonna not unincentivize, but certainly they're not going to be raking in the amount of money they're going to be making if they were to have their business here. So it does unincentivize it, but it also it's not as strong as I would like it to be. I would like it to be a lot higher. He also wants to raise the corporate tax rate back to 28%. So under Barack Obama, it was 35%, and I mean not even what they paid, but Trump lowered it to 21%, and that extra money comes from somewhere, and it's coming from you and me. We're the ones paying into it. So Biden wants to raise it back to 28%, which I feel like is already pretty much a compromise. Like going into it, like if anything, I'd want it to either go back to 35 or 40 or even more than that. I'd like it to go higher than that. It's a step in the right direction. It's a positive thing, but the fact that he's not even changing it back to the Obama number, I'm not really sure what he's thinking. Again, this is just his proposal, so it's hard to know if he'll really do it. The fact that it does seem a little bit watered down makes me think it's something that he's actually interested in doing. And again, we'll see what his priorities are if he gets elected. Again, if he has a Democrat Senate and a House, and he's got power in the government, there's a good chance he pushes for a lot of these things and kind of gets through a bunch of stuff that he wants to get through. He wants to increase taxes on people making $400,000 a year or more. So that's kind of what he's been pushing in his ads and stuff. He's been saying, like, if you make $400,000 a year or less, you won't pay any new taxes. In fact, you'll gain taxes. And his tax plan that he has put forward actually kind of shows that. So he wants to, anyone making in the top 5% of earnings, you're going to pay about 15% more after income tax. Income after tax, you're going to have about 15% less. And then the bottom 10% of earners, like the very poorest among us, are going to see an increase of about 10 or so percent, 10 to 15%. So kind of, taking it from the rich, giving to the poor. And it's a redistribution in a very minor way, but it's enough to kind of help change the system just a little bit. And, with the child tax credit and with the home buyer credit and a lot of other credits he wants to give in taxes, it's a good way to kind of put more money in the pockets of Americans. I would like to see UBI. I'd like to see Medicare for all. I know he's not going to do those, but so he also wants to make the capital gains tax equal the income tax, which for him would be 40% over $1 million. So I think right now it's like 30% or 29%, and he wants to make it 40%, and that would also include the capital gains tax at 40% over $1 million. So people who are sitting on their ass having their money make money for them, they're going to pay the same rate on that income as you and me pay for going to our jobs. He also wants to change the cap on Social Security. So the way it is right now is like if you make, let's say that I make $120,000 a year or $150,000 a year. I don't. And some jackass makes $30 million a year. We both pay the same amount of money towards Social Security. And what Biden wants to do is make it so that me at $150,000 either pay the same or less, and the person making $30 million pays a lot more. So it's putting more money into Social Security, and it's not hurting people that are. I mean, not that $150,000 is hurting, but it goes down the line. So essentially, trickle up. So that's most of what I wanted to say. Yeah, the capital gains tax, he wants to change it. I'm thrilled with that. I've been waiting for that for a long time. The estimates are that Biden's tax plan would increase government revenue by about $2.8 trillion, and it would just kind of, if you're in the bottom 95% of earners, like obviously most of us are, you're going to actually see your income go up a little bit under Biden, and if you're in the top 5%, it's going to come down a little bit, and you'll still be just fine. Again, the whole thing is whether or not Biden's actually going to do it, whether or not Biden's actually going to come through and fight for any of this. We'll see what his priorities are. I think it's more likely than anything he'll roll back the Trump tax cuts, which would be awesome. He's definitely going to put us back in the Paris Climate Accord. He'll definitely try to get us back the Iran deal. So I'm not a Biden supporter. I'm not a Trump supporter. I already voted. I voted for the Green Party, and I'm proud to have done it. But there's definitely some things that Biden is a plus over Trump, and I have to admit that. And being someone that was disillusioned by the Democrats because they cheated Bernie twice, I can definitely nod and say, hey, you know what? That's a good thing. And I'll give Biden credit when he does something like this, if he actually fights and does this, and if he ends up not doing it, or all the horrible things that he's going to do if he's president, I'll give him shit for it. Oh, my camera kind of froze there. That was weird. Sorry. So it is what it is. That seems to be his plan for the moment, and we'll see how much of it actually goes through. Make sure you like and subscribe for more. Thank you.